Hello and welcome to the Analog Toys live stream. And today we're going to be talking about the Imperial toys of Star Wars. I really like a lot of the design aesthetic of the Empire's different soldiers and characters and all that kind of thing. So glad that everybody's here in the chat. We've got Scuba Pete, Jody. We've got some mail from Jody here. Chris Mewa, thanks for staying up late again, my friend. Jeff 72, and Huey's here. Nice to see you again, Huey. You're up late for a Sunday, aren't you? Keith Knight, awesome. Just before we get started, I want to plug Iconicon, as we're going to continue to do in future live streams on all the different channels. So you've heard us talk about it before. Everything's really ramped up now. The website has gone live. I'll just put up a link to the website now. Iconicononline.com is the official website where you can go to have a look and see who the other presenters are, who the special guests are. The special guests, there is a lot more. We're still kind of building the website out as we go along. And in the coming weeks and months, you'll start to see the schedule build up over the 5-day period. I'm taking some time off work. It's taking a lot of effort on our part, but it's going to be a really fun 5 days, a free online convention where you don't even have to leave your home, and we're celebrating 80s pop culture. And some of you would have seen like the promo reel that I put up. Scuba Pete says the website is great. Ordering my t-shirt tonight. Awesome. Yeah, the t-shirt looks absolutely amazing. Dave Song has been working his butt off over the last, I want to say, several months, not weeks, to design a poster for us that we could put onto a t-shirt. I'm very happy with the way the poster came out. For those of you who don't know, if you've seen the poster, I had this idea to base it on the original Ghostbusters movie poster, but then change the characters who are holding the proton packs. So I'm dressed up as Flint from G.I. Joe. Melinda's in the middle as Freddy Krueger. Michael is dressed as Marty McFly from Back to the Future. And then the Dr. Claw hand at the top, that is Sal, because you only ever see his hands in the video. I thought that was pretty cool. I've ordered my t-shirt as well. I ordered mine early. I made a private order to a place in Perth, so I wouldn't have to wait weeks and weeks to have a t-shirt shipped from the United States. So as soon as I get it, I'm going to start wearing it in the streams. Jody, is it known what time vid streams during Iconicon will start streaming? Thinking about taking days off. Yeah, so we're only just starting to piece together the schedule, Jody. But rest assured, I am conscious that obviously a lot of my live streams, the way I do them at the moment, is not a good time for people in the United Kingdom and Europe. But I want to do I'll be doing a live stream interview with Bob Breakin, the chief designer of Action Man and Action Force. I'm not going to ask Bob to stay up till midnight and do an interview, so I'll be doing an evening live stream from me, which will be that is probably the first thing that is locked into the schedule, because there's only one day that Bob's available. He's going away for a holiday, and he's back on the last day of Iconicon. So I will be doing a live streamed interview with Bob Breakin, probably around 1 p.m. UK time on the last day of Iconicon. Melinda, good to see you. Glad you're all checking out the t-shirt and the site. Yes, I can't wait for my t-shirt to arrive. I'm so happy with that poster that Dave put together. And we've got Brendan Haley here. Morning collective group. Hope you're all well. I'm taking my breakfast, viewing and joining in. Good to see you here, Brendan. My thoughts are with you. Actually, speaking of Brendan, I've got another announcement to make. Bear with me a second, because I just need to share screen with you here. So Gary Atkinson, who many of you know, he's an action force, or predominantly an action force collector and seller, who I've recommended a lot of you to, and I know you've picked up some excellent action force items from Gary Atkinson in the past. He reached out to me yesterday and wanted to offer up a rare action force piece for us to auction off, with the proceeds going to the Race for Chase, which is Brendan's 18-year-old son who's currently suffering cancer. There's a GoFundMe for the Race for Chase. The link to that GoFundMe is in the description of this video. But after today's 2 live streams, we've got this main stream and then the Patreon-only live stream, which is going to be quite a long one. I'm going to do a running commentary of the Story of Action Man documentary. When all that's over, I'm going to start a Facebook auction for a very rare Action Force figure. I'm just going to show you a picture of it now. So Gary is offering up a mint red laser action figure. I will run the auction through my Facebook page, or sorry, through the Analog Toys Facebook page. But I'm not actually ever going to come into possession of this figure. You know, the winning bidder will have the item shipped to them directly from Gary. I'm going to cover the shipping costs, and all of the funds raised will be getting donated to the GoFundMe for the Race for Chase. Okay, let's talk about the toys of the Empire. I'm trying to think which ones I had when I was a child. I definitely had a Stormtrooper action figure. I definitely had a Darth Vader. I had the Death Squad Commander. I had what we called the Chicken Walker, the Scout Walker. The only TIE fighter I owned was the Darth Vader TIE fighter, and this mint example here was very kindly donated to the channel by Michael French from Retroblasting. Jody's private messaging me here saying, let him cover, let me offer to split those shipping costs for that auction item. Thank you very much, Jody. That's much appreciated. So I thought when I set up the table today, I would do a mixture of Black Series and original vintage, just because I quite like the Imperial toys of the Black Series, and I haven't yet done a video on that. I've done a number of Black Series videos. I haven't done the Empire, but for those of you who follow me on Patreon will know that I've recently acquired, the Black Series Dengar figure. So I think the next Black Series video you'll see is going to be about the bounty hunters. Melinda's loving the red tablecloth. Thank you very much, Melinda. This is a tablecloth that we buy. Well, I can't speak again this morning. We purchased this tablecloth for Christmas. We've had it for a couple of years. It comes out at Christmas, and I was using it for the Christmas live streams. But I've got so much mail to open here, I've had to put a bigger table in here today. The tablecloth I use on the table that I normally use is actually like all pinned in place, so it's nice and neat. So I pull out the red table. We used it for the Anzac Day live stream last week as well, and yes, it does. It looks very nice, and certainly really accentuates all the white stormtroopers and stuff like that. So the Kenner Collecting Kid just stopping by to say, love your channel, keep up the great work. Thank you very much, the Kenner Collecting Kid. I don't think I've seen your YouTube handle around before, but awesome to have you on board. Bjorn Jorgensen, I hope I pronounced that correctly. What is one Imperial toy that they didn't make that you wanted as a kid? That's a great question. I was thinking about this. Technically, they did make a Star Destroyer, but I think they made a really bad version of the Star Destroyer. So that would definitely be one. But the other glaring omission for me is quite simply a Grand Moff Tarkin action figure in the vintage line. I never understood when I was a child why we got the Death Squad Commander and not Grand Moff Tarkin, who happens to be one of my favorite Black Series action figures. I love this. I'm a fan of Peter Cushing anyway. You know, he was Doctor Who, he was Van Helsing, he's been Grand Moff Tarkin. It's quite impressive, really. Tim Ward, does Gracie know that you have the good? Well, it's my tablecloth, Tim. I bought. I can't remember which Christmas it was, but basically, I took some annual leave around Christmas. Gracie was taking 1 week off, and I was taking 2, and I had the week off before Christmas. So Gracie does all the cooking in the house. She's an amazing cook. So because I had the week off leading up to Christmas, it became my job to go out and buy all the decorations for the Christmas table and everything. So Gracie doesn't mind. I'll buy another one. Scuba Pete says the Black Series Grand Moff Tarkin face sculpt is excellent. Yes, it really is excellent. Yes, that's right, Tim Hayes. Peter Cushing was also Dr. Frankenstein. Yeah. So going back to that question before about, the Imperial toys that they didn't make that I wish they had have made. There's also an Imperial toy that shouldn't have been an Imperial toy. And I wanted to bring this up here. That's the Imperial attack base. This is a slightly rarer box for the toy because this says here made in Australia by the General Mills Creative Products Limited. It's not super rare, but it is rarer than the standard Kenner box. The toy inside is exactly the same, but yeah, this should never have been called the Imperial attack base because the Imperials invaded Hoth on the Walkers. This should have been a rebel trench, but Michael French has got a good theory about that, and it's in the Star Wars Follies video called Snowblind, and I completely agree with his theory. It makes perfect sense. The Prince Philip sculpt on Grand Moff Tarkin. That's funny. Wolfie, thank you very much for the super chat. Say what you want about Battlefront 2016. I've never played it, so I have no opinion. Check out some Dengar gameplay. Absolutely perfect characterization, not to mention hilarious. Sounds like an angry Warwick Davis. I mean, Dengar is that character with, I don't know, just bandages wrapped around his head. He's an exceedingly difficult Black Series figure to find, but basically, I had purchased a 40th anniversary Black Series re-release of Boba Fett. I then stumbled across an archive edition of Bossk in a department store in Perth on clearance, like $15. And then a very kind donation to the channel afforded me 4 Lomond Zuckers. And then not too long ago, I realized that IG-88 has been released again on an archive card. So I then had the 5 of the 6 bounty hunters from The Empire Strikes Back. And I'm like, I've got to get Dengar. Everyone was warning me, that he's very, very pricey. But in the end, I kind of bit the bullet. And I don't remember exactly what I paid, but it's the most I've ever paid for a single Black Series figure. But I was very impressed with him when he arrived. The actual, the figure itself is very, very nice. Tony, do you have a favorite trooper design? Certainly my favorite trooper figure right now is the new release of the Black Series Stormtrooper, which came in a Mandalorian box. I think it's from the episode where they take Grogu from the top of that weird shrine mountain thing. He's the best action figure, but personally, like from the movies, all the different designs, in the vintage line, for some reason, I've got a bit of a thing for the AT-AT driver. I really like the AT-AT driver and the speeder bike pilot, but I think they nailed pretty much all of the designs for the Imperial kind of troop builders. the Death Star gunner is an action figure I would love to add to the collection. I'm not going to go and get an original due to the price. I'm waiting for a Stan Solo reproduction of a Death Star gunner. Jody, your kindness and generosity just blows me away. For those who don't know, Jody has sent me some funds to help run some ads for Iconicon. I've got a massive mystery box from him here. Was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? He sent me Boulder Hill. You're too kind, Jody. You're too kind. Thank you for the super chat. The Dragon Reborn. Michael French once said Dengar looked like an action figure wrapped in toilet roll. Yeah, he kind of does. One of the weird things, like, you know, I've never studied Dengar's footwear before. But I was taking this figure out of the package a couple of nights ago after it arrived. And as I said, I'm very, very impressed with the sculpt on the figure. It's a very, very nicely done Black Series figure. He's wearing moccasins. They look like the moccasins that come from the Native American action figures from the Lone Ranger toy line. It was like this bounty hunter's cruising around in a pair of slippers. Antonio Viscodis, good to see you here. Scott Hughes, good to see you as well. Antonio Viscodis, I always like the AT-AT driver and the TIE pilot. Yeah, I particularly, I really like the vintage figures. I would like to upgrade this AT-AT driver. When I say upgrade, like quality-wise, it's pretty nice, this one, but the Imperial insignias are not quite as crisp as I was like. I certainly won't like get an upgrade and get rid of this one, you know, because he can actually sit in the AT-AT and this one can just display in the cabinet. Scott Hughes said, I had the Darth Vader TIE Fighter the Christmas after it came out. The panels would not stay in place, and my parents super glued them on. Yeah, there's a small latch inside that breaks very easily, but it's been very interesting since the Star Wars Follies was released, where all tied up, you know, the collaboration between Analog Toys, Retro Blasting, and 2 Cents Toys. The amount of people in the comments who also said that the Darth Vader TIE Fighter was the one that they had when they were a kid. From all the comments, it makes me think that this is probably the most common TIE Fighter available in stores or something. Huey says, the only thing you wanted as a kid, an army of stormtroopers. That was another missed opportunity, another thing that I really wish that Kenner had have done back in the day, was not sold stormtroopers on single figure card backs, but sold them in 3 packs or 4 packs. I mean, I wish Hasbro had done the same thing with Cobra Troopers. But yeah, I only had one Stormtrooper when I was trying to think. As a kid, I had a Snow Trooper, a Stormtrooper, a Biker Scout, the Death Squad Commander. I don't think I had the AT-AT driver, which is maybe why I particularly like it now, because it's like, you know, reacquiring one of those toys from your childhood that you never had. Yeah. Jesus says, Tony, I'm a long-time subscriber to Retro Blasting. Whoa. Why did Siri turn on? That's weird. Sorry. Jesus says, Tony, I'm a long-time subscriber to Retro Blasting and now a new subscriber to your channel. Our Star Wars Vintage Collection and Black Series hard to find in Australia. Vintage collection. I don't collect the Star Wars Vintage Collection. I don't know, unless you're actually talking about Star Wars Vintage toys. I don't think Star Wars Vintage toys are hard to find in many countries because they made so many of them. The problem is there is such a high demand for vintage Star Wars that the prices have just gone absolutely through the roof. But Black Series, you do see a lot of Black Series stuff on the pegs in toy shops, particularly down in Perth. I can't find anything here locally. But there's you'll go into toy stores and there's a lot of peg warmers. From the 40th anniversary line, which was the first time I kind of got into Black Series, where I picked up Hoth Leia, Bespin Han, Bespin Luke, and Yoda. They were the first 4 Black Series figures I collected. If you go into toy stores in Perth now, there are loads of Hoth layers still hanging on the pegs, and all the other figures are gone. So, yeah, they're not difficult to find, but you can't find the ones you want. Alan Dawson, what are your thoughts on the Death Squad Commander figure having that name? I really don't know. I'm just assuming that the designers at Kenner, this was kind of somewhat of it was a nameless character, and it was a background character in the movie. We knew what stormtroopers were, but they didn't know. They just obviously came up with a name. I don't know if in those very early years of Kenner producing stuff, how much interaction they had with Lucasfilm around things like this. Obviously, several years later in the Power of the Force line, we would get the Death Star Gunner. That is the correct name for that particular figure. This guy, I don't know. Maybe they were going to call him the Death Star Commander, and it didn't really make sense because that was Grand Moff Tarkin, so they just changed the middle name. I don't know. George Aiken, Siri, order 100 Stormtrooper Funko Pops. My Siri's turned off, George, and I don't have a what's that other house one? My brain doesn't work early in the mornings. Scuba Pete says, I'm a sucker for the 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back giant card backs. I do prefer them over the boxes. I've got here General Veers. I have 2 General Veers figures. I've got a loose one and a boxed one. I'm not a fan of the box. One good thing about the boxes is that you can display the figures and then put them back into the packaging later if you want to store them. Whereas the card backs, once you rip them off, they're off. But me personally, every modern figure pretty much that I get comes out of the box. I don't keep modern figures mint in box. Mr. Toad says, as a kid, I loved the Stormtrooper Blaster. They came out with the folding stock. Did they have that in England? You're talking about like the role-playing Stormtrooper Blaster. I'm pretty sure we had that in England. I didn't have that. I had the Rebel Blaster, Han Solo's blaster. That's a toy I would like to reacquire, actually. The old Han Solo Stormtrooper Rebel Blaster. Tree Theodore says the Imperial officers for the detention block would have been handy. Yeah, and a good I was going to say a good detention block would have been handy, but then of course that's because I grew up not having the Palatoy Death Star or the Kenner's Death Star in my collection. So I remember when Power of the Force 2 first came out, one toy I did particularly like from that lot, because I got big into collecting that in like 95, 96, whenever it was when they started to reappear in toy stores. Collected most of the first couple of years of that line. There was a small mini play set, which was the detention block. I particularly liked that toy. It was just a nice little, it was more of a diorama than a play set, but it was a nice way to display your figures. Huey says, in lockdown, I watched Tony's toy play sets and the Action Man just looks so cool. So, yeah, thank you very much. Stephen S., they really need to come out with a proper Black Series Darth Vader that has a removable helmet. 1983 all over again. Would you get it if they did, Tony? Hasbro has a lot of problems with removable helmet action figures. They just don't seem to get them correct. If you take the helmet, if they get the helmet to look right, then the head doesn't look correct. If they get the head looking correct, then the helmet looks too big. But also, Darth Vader with a removable helmet is from like a very brief scene at the end of Return of the Jedi. I like the normal look of Darth Vader with the helmet on. I don't really have any desire. I mean, mainly from the Black Series, I'm collecting Empire Strikes Back, so his helmet was never removed. Well, actually, technically, no. It was very, very briefly. If the Black Series if Hasbro did for the Black Series produce the whatever that chamber is that Darth Vader's in when he turns around and speaks to the Emperor and the helmet comes down, if they made a little set of that, I mean, for all I know, they already have, but that would be something I would like to add to the collection. George Aitken, the Palatoy mini rigs were great toys and great value. Yeah, they were, and I had quite a few of the mini rigs. One of the ones I didn't have is the tripod laser cannon that I've got here that was very kindly donated by Alan Dawson. I had the Cap 2. I had a few of the mini rigs, yeah. That's a good point, Ken and Collecting Kid. If Smith Lord Creations made a Darth Vader with removable helmet, I'm pretty sure Chris Smith would get it correct, and that one I would buy. Absolutely. One of my favorite Imperial toys is actually one that I got for Christmas, and that is this Black Series Stormtrooper helmet. This is the microphone inside is total. I say total junk. I've never even gotten this one to work, so I don't know what it sounds like. But this is a really, really cool toy. I just use it as a bit of a prop piece, I suppose. But I particularly like this. Gracie gave it to me for Christmas as well, so I've got a bit of a soft spot for it. Mr. Toad, they did a modern Darth Vader meditation chamber. Yeah, is that for Black Series, or did they do it in a 3 3/4 inch scale? I'm not fully up to speed with. I've kind of kept an eye on Black Series over the time. You know, I remember seeing the very first ones that came out in toy shops and being quite disappointed, actually. You know, it was the X-Wing Luke and stuff. I didn't think they looked that good, but in recent years, the Black Series has really taken levels of detail and face sculpting to a whole other level, to a point where I'm pretty invested in the Empire Strikes Back line at the moment. Okay, yeah, the 3 3/4 inch scale. Now, I would definitely buy a 6-inch Black Series Darth Vader chamber if it was available. Jody says, why did they never include the TIE bomber in the original Kenner range? Well, I have a theory about this. And put simply, it's that by using existing tooling for the main cockpit and the wing connectors, they were able to produce 4 different TIE fighters with minimal additional tooling costs, you know, just different wings. So you've got the white TIE, the blue TIE, Darth Vader's TIE, and the TIE Interceptor. 4 different TIE fighters. They were probably sitting there going, well, to create a TIE bomber, we need all this new additional tooling to change the main cockpit kind of fuselage structure. And it would have just been a cost-based decision. You know, 4 TIE fighters in the line. Why do we need to spend all this additional money to make another kind of unusual TIE fighter? Hayden Peterman, thank you very much for the super chat. He said, should Hasbro make a Black Series Revenge of the Sith Darth Vader? If so, would they include his second Sith lightsaber, the one he has before the one he has in the original trilogy? Maybe they've already made him. I don't know. I think there's enough Darth Vaders out there already. When I was looking to get Darth Vader for my collection, I asked a few friends for some advice, and they're like, "Oh, you've got to get the 40th anniversary one. That's the best one." And these friends more than likely did tell me in those messages the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary one. My brain didn't register that, and I ended up purchasing the Star Wars 40th anniversary one. The difference being is that the cloth goods go over the armor on the shoulder, not under the armor. I was looking around on eBay, actually, because I'm not that impressed with this particular Darth Vader. And I was looking around on eBay yesterday to pick up a Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary version of Darth Vader. Stuffy747, do you like Rogue One, and what are your opinion of Clone Wars? Well, Clone Wars I haven't exactly watched. The odd episode, I've never sat down and watched it all through, so I don't particularly want to give an opinion. Rogue One, I feel, is the best Star Wars movie that's been made since the Disney takeover. But the film is still quite problematic for me. There are parts of it that I like. K2SO is one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. There are some parts of, obviously, the Darth Vader scene towards the end I just think is incredible. Whenever I see that pop up in my YouTube feed, you can just watch that scene on its own where he boards the blockade runner. I like Rogue One, but there is still, it's not a perfect film, and it's probably the only film I feel that comes close to the original trilogy, not just in the sense of time, in the timeline, but in the sense that how well done the film is. I don't think it's as good as any of the films in the original trilogy, but it's this one Star Wars film that comes the closest. Keith Holmesley says they did make a Darth Vader Black Series with a removable helmet. I have it. Is it any good, Keith? I know Hasbro aren't that good with removable helmet action figures. I recently purchased a Han Solo and Stormtrooper Disguise Black Series figure because they're going cheap here on eBay Australia compared to standard Stormtroopers. And I thought, I'm just going to stick the helmet on him just to have another Stormtrooper. And then it turned up and I put the helmet on. And I'm like, that dude is ugly. Antonio says, agree 100%, Tony. K2SO is great. Yeah, that's such a good character. Such a good character. Doug Palumbo, Tony, this channel has grown to be one of my favorites. You're an outstanding host and your content is well researched and presented. Keep on it. Thank you very much, Doug. That's very, very nice to hear. I'm on a daily basis, I continue to be amazed at I'm not going to say the growth of the channel, but the community that has grown around this, and particularly in the last few months since we've started doing Patreon only live streams. A lot more people have joined. The Patreon has blown up. Well, the fighter nearly took a dive then. The Patreon has blown up, and it. This community. I mean, just look at all the people who reached out to help Brendan Haley the other day. It's just amazing. George Aitken, how are you, George? They made a Darth Vader with light up lightsaber and sound effects. What, in Black Series? I don't remember that. I'm not really. Lights and sound effects, were kind of fun when I was a child, but I don't particularly want to pay extra money for modern toys because they have light and sound features, because I'm going to purchase a modern toy, display it, and never use the light and sound feature. I'm not even going to keep the batteries in it so that the acid doesn't leak out and damage the toy. So I really don't go for light and sound features in modern stuff. George Aitken, on the back of your last video, I'm buying a Peacekeeper chopper. That's awesome. I'm actually going to be sending mine to Brendan Haley. He spoke to me afterwards and was asking kind of where I got it. Unfortunately, it was in we got a shop in my town called Headland Emporium. It's not a chain of stores. Like, there's not another one of these over in Queensland where Brendan is. But I said to him, look, man, I pretty much kind of purchased it for the video. I've got a real space issue at the moment, so I'm sending it Brendan's way. Probably later today, I'll be going to the post office to send that off. So, Charles Epting says, great setup, Tony. Thank you very much. I set this up last night because it's obviously early in the morning here, and I don't like having to get up too early. I always find if I set the live stream up in the morning, I'm really rushing and struggling to get here on time. So. Wade says, I loved the lights and sound as a kid playing with the vintage toys, but as an adult, I do not want them. Completely agree. Completely agree. I will still have, like, this Darth Vader TIE Fighter obviously has light and sound effects. I would put batteries in this just to film a shot for a video and then take the batteries out. But yeah, certainly today, any modern toy that comes out with any kind of battery-powered feature is going to cost a little bit more than a standard plastic figure or vehicle, whatever it is. And I don't want to, pay the extra for that. For those people who joined late, I am just going to, where are we again? I'm just going to quickly share again that, if I can find the share button here. Michael Schaefer, as always, is working in the background, but he can't share my screen, so I've got to do this for me. So thank you, Michael Schaefer and Tim Ward, for all your help in the background here, the behind the scenes crew. So for those of you who joined late, I've got to press another button there. For those of you who joined late, Gary Atkinson has very kindly offered to auction off this very rare Action Force red laser figure. We're going to be running that auction on the Facebook page. I'll set it up after the live streams with all the proceeds going to the GoFundMe called Race for Chase, which is for Brendan Haley's son, who's going through a very difficult time at the moment, suffering with cancer. Just trying to catch up with the chat here. Keith Holmesley says, Tony, I found 2 Zartans in the wild today at Target. That's awesome. Yeah, I picked up the classified Zartan. I'm not really collecting the classified line, but everyone was raving about that figure, and I had to kind of check it out for myself. But from experience, Australia seems to get a lot of the G.I. Joe classified stuff about 6 months after the States. But when we get it, it is in massive supply. You know, I went to a Toy Mate in Perth. When was that? Around Christmas time. And they, 20 odd profit directed Destros on the shelf, all of the first wave of figures, everything was there. So I imagine in 6 months' time, they're going to be selling Zartans on clearance here in Australia for some reason, that we get loads of them. John Baldry, good to see you, mate. He says, Tony, thanks. I just started my Indiana Jones Kenner collection. That is a really cool toy line to collect. And there are some quite rare, quite expensive pieces, but it is a limited toy line that is very easily achievable to complete. What's there, about 12 or 13 figures, a vehicle, a horse, 3 play sets, and you've got the line. And it's a really, really well detailed, nice line. Obviously, one Imperial toy that I don't have here, the big daddy of the Imperial toys, which I didn't have as a child. When I got back into collecting Star Wars, it was one of the first big purchases I made, and that is the Imperial Walker, the all-terrain armored transport. The AT-AT, the AT-AT, say it however you like. It really doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong way. I didn't bring that down simply because there's just not enough room on this table to bring the AT-AT down here. Scott Hughes says, since we all agree that the Kenner Star Destroyer is bad, how would you design a proper 3 3/4 inch scaled Star Destroyer? I think there should be 2, a smaller exterior ship for flying and a play set for figure play. I think they should have done, I think the Star Destroyer should have been slightly larger than the one we got. I think it should have been, the plastic molding of the main ship should have been slightly bigger than the Millennium Falcon. So it looked it needed to look bigger than the Millennium Falcon. So maybe another 6 to 8 inches in length. But I think they literally should have just had a lift off top where you can have different rooms inside, and then maybe a back panel that removed like from the deck of the ship where you could put your figures in there. So a bit like how the back of the Millennium Falcon just had a lift-off piece. That's what they should have done. Mr. Toad, I wish I had gotten the Palatoy Death Star playset. I never knew it existed until Tony's channel. I didn't know about the Palatoy Death Star playset when I was a child, even though I grew up in England, because it was a bit before my time. It was only sold like 78, 79 in the UK. I would have been 1 and 2 years old. I didn't think I got into Star Wars until 81, when I was about 4. So I wasn't aware of that or the Kenner Death Star because that wasn't sold in the UK until much, much later. But I've now got a very nice, complete Kenner Death Star. I don't have the Palatoy one. Keith Knight, I built an ATAC coffee table which doubles as a cat bed. It's big. Okay. I've got to see that. Yeah, Blue Pen says the Naboo ship pullout. The Naboo ship, I do remember seeing that in toy stores when the Phantom Menace came out. That's kind of, I think, what I've got in my brain of how they should have done a Star Destroyer, similar kind of playability features. Brian Dillingham, thank you for the super chat. It does seem appropriate for this stream. I will put that towards the Black Series habit or the Valaverse habit or any of my other habits. Bad habits, that is. How long have we been going for? We probably need to start doing unboxing soon because there's a lot of stuff here to unbox. I've got 5 parcels here, 2 of which are quite large. But I suppose just going through the other toys on the table, I once again want to thank Alan Dawson for the donation of the tripod laser cannon. I didn't have this toy as a child. I'm quite impressed with this. I really like it. It displays excellently with a couple of snowtroopers. The Dewback is a recent acquisition to the collection. It's a toy I've wanted for such a long time. It's that one really odd Imperial toy from the vintage line that, I mean, I put it front and center because it stands out as though it shouldn't belong to the Empire. But as we know, the Dewbacks are what the Stormtroopers use to ride around on the deserts of Tatooine. What else have I got over there? Oh, the Sand Trooper figure, that was a donation to the channel. This Stormtrooper is the one that George Aitken sent me, which is the earlier design. But this, honestly, guys, if you're collecting Black Series and you haven't gotten this new Stormtrooper with the butterfly joints in the shoulders and everything, the posability options with this figure are just mind-blowing. I'm so impressed with this figure. Articulation-wise, it's the best Black Series figure there is. Scott Hughes says, did you know that there is an unadvertised play feature on the Kenner Star Destroyer? There is a gripper arm decal on the rear. The Falcon will precariously fit onto the rear to mimic the scene in Empire. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. I've never had that toy, and it's so lame. It's one I don't really want to get. I really want to see Michael French do a Star Wars Follies about the Kenner Star Destroyer. I think it's ripe for a Star Wars Follies. There's not a Star Wars Follies that I want to collaborate on. I would just want to see Michael do that video, Dave Robertson, do you have the huge Imperial Shuttle Tidarium toy? I didn't know that existed until the 90s. Didn't have it as a child. Don't have it now. Don't have a lot of desire to get it. When I made my video about the top 10 best Star Wars vehicles, the Shuttle Tidarium didn't even end up on the list. And there's been a lot of comments on that video over the years about, hey, where's the Shuttle Tidarium? I'm like, it's not on the list. but it's awesome. And I asked people, why is it awesome? Because it's big. Yeah, that doesn't make it good. I don't call it shuttle Tylerium when I talk about the toy. I call it shuttle cumbersome. I wouldn't have enjoyed playing that as a kid. It's just this massive hunk of plastic that you can't actually stick that many figures in. It's not really that playable. It's just a big thing. Stephen S., would you like to see a Black Series style Indiana Jones line encompassing all 3 films? Yes, I said 3. Well said on the 3 films. I have never thought about that before, but if they did it well, like, I mean, with the new phase printing technology, like, you know, the Bespin Han Solo is very, very good from the Empire 40th line. Would I collect it? I don't know. I'm pretty happy with my vintage collection of Indiana Jones. I think if they brought out a line of those figures, and let's say there was 6 figures in the first wave, and I added up the cost of all 6 figures, I would probably rather spend that money on reacquiring Marion Ravenwood, who I had at one point and let go. I do need to reacquire Marion Ravenwood. It's the one figure missing from my vintage Kenner collection of Indiana Jones. So, all right, I might start packing up and moving on to some unboxings. For those of you who are not a patron of the channel, we often do Patreon-only live streams after these main shows, about 20, 30 minutes afterwards. I didn't do one last week because of being an Anzac Day holiday, and I spent the day with Grace because she had the day off. So to kind of make it up to the patrons, after this main live stream, we're going to go into a very big Patreon-only live stream, which I imagine is going to go for at least 2 hours, because I'm going to do a running commentary of my documentary feature, The Story of Action Man. The reason it's going to go for 2 hours is it's a 90-minute documentary for a start. So we'll have a bit of a chat for 10 minutes, just, you know, me and the patrons. We will then get into the commentary, and then I'll try and answer some questions. I'll answer your questions as we go as well, but, you know, a bit of a wrap up at the end. So so for anyone who's not a member of Patreon, there's 4 different tiers, but the $1 tier gives you access to the Patreon only live streams. So just head over to patreon.com and search Analog Toys. Keith Holmesley says Hasbro would ruin 6-inch Indiana Jones figures for sure. I reckon they would. Like they might get indie correct. They might. But then they would go and I know what Hasbro would do, right? Their first wave would have Indiana Jones and Shia LaBeouf would be in the line for no damn reason. You know, that one film that we all believe is not part of the truth of Indiana Jones. So, all right, I love this stuff. I had a TIE Fighter. Thank you again, Michael. Custom acrylic stands. These are excellent ways to display your Star Wars vehicles. This is the TIE Fighter one. They do. You've really got to balance them on there very well, and a slight knock of the wing will make the TIE Fighter go flying. But some of the other stands that are available on eBay hold your Star Wars vehicles very, very securely. All right. How much of this stuff do I need? Oh, I think I need to pack up a lot of stuff here. What are we going to take off the table, and what are we going to keep? We'll take the ATST off the table. The all-terrain Scout. Oh. Admiral Peart. You can just go over there. Oh, come. I've got room at this side of the table to just park up some figures. We'll get the speeder bike out of the way. Brian Dillingham says, was that a Zach Paris? Yes, it is a Zach Paris stand. Yes. I've got a Zach Paris stand for the Snow Speeder, the X-Wing, the TIE Fighter, The Zach Paris stand for the B wing, I think, is brilliant because the B wing is not a vehicle that you can display very well without a stand. So getting a Zach Paris display stand for your B wing enables you to have it like on an angle with the wings out. Otherwise, you've got to sit it down on the engines kind of facing upwards or just lay it down on its side, and it doesn't look very dynamic. But having it on that stand with the wings deployed and everything, that's the way to do it. Thank you. Excuse me, Peter Cushing. I'm just going to move you there. Darth Vader. Okay. Bobby Valor. Thank you very much for the super chat. What's in the box? I don't know what's in the box, Bobby. You're gonna have to wait because I'm not opening yours first. What have we got? First of all, I've got a parcel here from France, and I believe this one is from. I believe it's from Evander. Evander has sent some mystery boxes to Retroblasting recently. My tea's going cold. So thank you if this is Evander, I think it is. It's from France, but it doesn't have a name on there. No, this is not Evander. This is from James Reeves. I hope there's a note in here because I want to make sure I credit the right person for the kind donation. I'm just speaking to Bobby's super chat just before what's in the box. Bobby, if you have sent me a like a masterpiece edition Gwyneth Paltrow head, I will be impressed. That's going to get the cats having some fun in here later on. All right. Don't know which way up to open it. We got a Tintin postcard here, and no, this is from Evander. This says, "Dear Tony, this was shipped on April 15th of March. Sorry, April 15th. Wow, that got here fast. Bobby sent his item express, and it took like 5 weeks to get here. I bought these items for you on eBay before I saw the tour of your collection, so I realized that these items might not fit within your collection. You do not seem to have any big gym except for the tiger that appeared on the Masters of the Universe." Oh, wow. I'm not going to read the rest of that just yet. Whoa. Here we have the eagle from the big gym line, which was obviously recolored for the Masters of the Universe line. But I also think this is incredibly similar to the eagle that comes with the Lone Ranger line, an eagle that I don't have. Thank you very much, Evander. That's awesome. Whoa. So we have here, this looks like shout it out in the chat, guys. Is this me? I want to say Lion Rock. Is that it? We've got here, looks like an American Air Force pilot. This is awesome, Evander. Yeah, this is an American pilot. He's got his flight cap, oxygen mask, goggles, a clipboard. Yeah, very unexpected. Someone please let me know the name of that toy line. It looks like Amigo to me. I'm very familiar with them, but the name just escapes me at the moment. And, wow. A Big Jim action figure. I've always wanted to do a video on Big Jim. I don't collect Big Jim, but I've got a very, very close family friend down in Perth who is a Big Jim collector. We've got this guy here. And I've always wanted to, when I get the opportunity, make a video about Big Jim using his collection. But I never seem to, Sergeant Rock, is that right? Sergeant Rock? Sky Captain. Lots of question marks here. People don't know. I'll find out and we'll let you know after the stream. No, this is very cool. Thank you very much. What else do we have here? We have a Legion and Hunt. So we've got a key ring here for a French Legion. Very nice. And Buck Rogers. We've got a vintage Mego Buck Rogers. It's not Buck Rogers. It's from the Buck Rogers line. This is why does my brain not want to work this morning? Come on in the chat. Tell me who this is. This is... Oh, God.
I didn't get that.
I didn't ask you, Siri. Why does Siri keep coming on? Yeah, Draco, that's it. And what is this item? Oh, this is like the sleeve attachment for this Big Jim figure that the Eagle can sit on. Very, very nice. Evander, that's very, very kind of you. Thank you very much. Buck Rogers Draco, yeah. Everyone's saying Emperor Draco. I particularly like this this American pilot guy here. He's got some awesome accessories. I'm going to take a close-up photo of this guy after the stream and post it on social media. Kieran Ball says, and Kieran Ball, welcome to Patreon. I saw you joined up Patreon very recently. Mattel are bringing back Big Jim, but in 3.75 inch size. Well, Mattel are bringing back one Big Jim figure. Aren't they bringing back like Big Jim, Pulsar, and a couple of other, just like 4 different 70s toy lines and bringing them back in 3 3/4 inch scale. I'm not sure why they're doing that. Timothy Ward says, Sontaran Bar was asking if patrons can access old Patreon live stream. Yes, all of the old Patreon live streams are on there for $1 a month. The patrons, so $1 a month, patrons get access to all of our feature videos 24 hours early, and you get to enjoy the Patreon only live streams. And once you sign up to Patreon, you go back through our entire back catalogue for the 2 and a bit years that we've had Patreon. I do video messages. You get access to those from the $2 tier and upwards. And then the $5 tier and upwards get some other kind of exclusive content. I do a few like mail call unboxings from time to time that just go to the $5 tier and up. So we got a parcel here. This is from Lio Convoy Reviews. Another YouTube channel, a great YouTube channel if you're into vintage animation. I read this before I got here. On the outside of the parcel, it said for me to please read the letter first. Well, I didn't finish reading Evander's. Yeah, so he picked up the Big Jim figure with the bald eagle. That same seller had the Mego figure for a small price. I thought it was more reasonable. After some research online, I discovered the figure was part of a line by Mego called War Heroes, and in France, Jojo license. Enjoy and keep up the good work. All the best, Evander. Thank you very much, Evander. Thank you very much. Big Red Robber, thank you for the super chat, the super sticker. Much, much appreciated. Okay, we've got a letter here, and this comes from my friend at Thomas at Liar Convoy Review. Says, I love this. He's drawn. You can't see that with all the lights reflecting. He's drawn the Thundercats logo on the letter. Very cool. He says, Tony, I saw your video on completing your collection, and while I congratulated you, there was something that troubled me. You were still missing one part to truly complete your collection. I know both prices in Australia are high, and so are imported prices, so I decided to remedy this situation. Inside, you will find Dusty's bipod. And Jody sent me a Dusty bipod last week. My gift to you, and thank you for both the content and friendship. Though we may not focus on the same properties, your videos combined with your knowledge means you'll always get a view from me. Thank you very much, Thomas. You owe me nothing for this. The only thing I'd ask is something I know you'll do anyway, and that's to keep up the great content. Full force, Thomas from Liar Convoy. Thomas, thank you very much. Wow. It's a Dusty bipod. But this is not going to go to waste because I quite like Dusty. And what I'm going to do now is acquire another Dusty action figure minus the bipod because you can get a little bit cheaper that way. Reunite him with his bipod, and I might start army building Dusty figures because let's face it, my own military service was pretty much spent in the desert, and Dusty's the desert soldier. So, but much appreciated, and thank you for your kind words. It's a really nice letter. I really appreciate that. Okay, this box here is from Brad Abbott. Brad Abbott started chatting to me some time ago on Facebook. He's a big G.I. Joe collector. I think this one's from Brad Abbott. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Whoa. Tim Ward says army build Dusty bipods. No. When I talk about army building, I talk like 3 figures. I've built an army in my collection. I don't quite believe what I'm seeing here. These are some incredibly rare vintage G.I. Joe parts. When I talk vintage G.I. Joe, I'm talking 1960s G.I. Joe. The M60 bipod here, which is original, is an incredibly fragile piece that sells for a lot of money. And we have, whoa, an original tunic and trousers for a vintage G.I. Joe Green Beret action figure. Man, like we're going all the way back to 1966 here with some of these accessories. Brad, thank you very, very much. You know I'll be able to find a place in my collection for these items. This is awesome. George Aitken, when I do army building, it's 50 bucks. Yeah, I've seen your photos, George. I don't have the room to do that. I've got quite a few Action Force SAS squad leaders. I'm kind of army building those, but what's Tim Ward saying there? George Aitken. I don't want to brag, but I've built an army of 50 pennies. Well, the other thing with George is George has been collecting Action Force for so long, he got a lot of his collection for pennies back in the day. So I'm very parched this morning. I had a couple of beers last night. I've just done like 5 days at work. I did about 63 hours work in 5 days. So I got home yesterday, I was exhausted, and I sat down and relaxed with some beers. All right, we've got a box here from Bobby. I'm going to keep Bobby waiting with anticipation. And we're going to go for the big one from Jody. I'm going to have to open this one off the floor. This is huge. Jody's done it again. I don't know. You're a good guy, Jody. I need a bigger studio. I really do. Me and Grace have been talking about we're probably only going to live in Port Hedland for another couple of years. You know, we're here for the work. You know, we can both earn pretty good money in the mining industry. But I only want to live here for another couple of years, and then we're going to buy our own house down in Perth, because I live in a company housing here. We have a house in Thailand, but when we buy our own house, it's when we make that decision, it's going to be based around having a suitable room for a studio that's big enough, and I'm going to have it properly decked out as a studio with soundproofing and all of that kind of stuff. So, right, Jody, what have you done this time? Echo Base Network, good to see you. Hail Analog Toys. Oh my good Lord, Jody. Jody was chatting to me before the stream, saying that he sent this to me because he's trying to get me to make a video about this particular property. And I really think I should, because, this originates from the United Kingdom. I've obviously done a lot of videos about British-based toy lines before. Yes, Jody's done it again. And we have a letter here. I don't know if I'm supposed to do the letter first, Jody, but everyone can see what it is now. It is the Matchbox Tracy Island playset from the early 90s. Wow. Now I need to go out and collect the vehicles. That's a big, very cool playset. Chris Miwa, wow, that's awesome. Yes, Jody's done it again. Let's get to the letter here. Hey, Tony, here's a start to coerce you into getting a Thunderbirds collection. I've been trying to coerce Michael into doing some Jerry Anderson vids, maybe something for the two of you to collaborate on. Cheers, Jody. Thank you very much, Jody. You have coerced me, because I'm a child of the United Kingdom. I grew up on Captain Scarlet and Thunderbirds. I've always wanted to do a video about this particular toy line. I will be making a video. I don't know when, because I need to acquire all the die-cast ships that go with this. But I'll be making a video about the Matchbox Tracy Island playset at some stage. Thank you very much, Jody. Very, very cool. Very cool. Okay. Yes, Jody is somewhat of a Santa Claus. Thunderbirds, I go. Yes, it was a great toy line. I remember I was buying some of this stuff back in the day. The Scuba Pizzas, it has a pool, yeah, and you can come around and clean it, Scuba. You're always welcome at my house, you know that. You're also welcome on Tracy Island. I was collecting some of this stuff back in the 90s when it was coming out. Again, another one of those kind of periods in my life where I was collecting a modern toy line like Power of the Force 2, like what was I going to say? Dragon models, the 1/6 scale World War II figures. I collected a lot of modern stuff throughout my adulthood, and have all the collections are gone, and I don't know whatever happened to them. So, all right. Thank you, Jody. Thank you very, very much. This is an awesome play set. Where did this come from? Did this come from Australia? Because the mail on here, oh no, I don't know. It's so 60s awesome. Yeah. Right, and I've got a mystery box here from Bobby Valor. Sorry, Joe, I'm going to have to move this out of the way. Get that there. I've got a lot of cleaning up to do before we get into the Patreon-only live stream. Okay, and we have, a box here from Bobby Valor. Bobby Valor is the owner of Valorverse, bringing out the new Action Force toy line. So, and he's been eagerly awaiting this to arrive because he paid extra for express shipping, and it still ended up. When did you ship this, Bobby? Bobby shipped this on the 1st of April. So I took a whole month to get here express shipping, which is not what you pay express shipping for. Jody from the UK. Okay, thank you very much. It's just Australian Postal Service must have put new stickers on it because it had like Australian Postal. But it probably came into a sorting centre and then they waxed stickers over the old ones, so it looked like it might have come from within Australia. So, all right, Bobby, I hope you're in the chat, mate. I did tell Bobby I would leave this one till last because he has to put his children to bed around this time. So, but I've seen him in the chat. Lots of bubble wrap. Okay, I've got a letter here from Bobby. Tony, I have really appreciated our friendship over this short time. It was a bonus that you love what I'm doing with Action Force. As a token of my appreciation, I want you to have something special. First of all, this isn't what made me speechless. First of all, we have an Action Force we've got a few Action Force t-shirts. I like this one. I'm going to put one of these t-shirts on for the Patreon only live stream. Oh, we got the Sergeant Slaughter t-shirt. Very nice, Bobby. I do need these for to wear when I do my Valorverse review videos in the future. My live chat and streaming doesn't want to keep up. Bobby Valor, I'm not crying, you're crying. Dude, I don't know how I can take this out and show the audience and have you really understand how amazing this is and what it means. Bobby has sent. I'm being so careful here. So in the letter, Bobby says, this is the first ever Condor prototype Paintmaster. Condor is my favorite figure character in the new Action Force line. Oh, man. Oh, wow, Bobby. I hope this isn't broken. There's a few like loose joints here. This is... I'm trying to figure out how to show the audience here. Oh, my word. So Bobby has also said in the letter here, it was done as part of the first Kickstarter that did not fund. The original color scheme was much closer to the Palatoy version. Hopefully he made the trip over to Australia in one piece. Don't worry if anything is broken. He's held together with a lot of super and hot glue. If anything breaks, just use either method to get him back together. I wanted you to have this piece for some time. Hope the shirts fit too. Thank you for being a good friend and a great ambassador for Action Force. I'm fucking overwhelmed, Bobby. Seriously, dude. Wow. There's more in here, which I think maybe some of the accessories. I will be very delicately piecing this back together. Love you too, Bobby. We got to work on that that UFC YouTube commentary channel, man, and have some beers together. Oh, I've just noticed. So here's the left shoulder. Here's the left shoulder. You can't see from here. I'm going to be taking photo. I'm probably going to make a video about this. It's got the SAS badge to go on the left shoulder. And this is in here. Oh, wow. This is like an acrylic. Wow, this is awesome. This is like an acrylic display stand that has all of his other accessories kind of laid out really neatly. I'm so excited. I want to rush, but I can't because it's fragile. Oh, damn. You're going to see a grown man cry in a minute. Oh, look at that. The Scar rifle. How nice is that? So it's got the alternate head with the balaclava, the belt, all the different hands on a display stand to display it. And I'm already trying to figure out where I'm going to put this in my collection. Whoa, yes, Wolfie, that is freaking awesome. I love the accessory display as well. There's lots of peanuts in here. I just want to... Dude, something's wrong with the sound. Can everyone hear me all right? Okay, thank you. Sounds good. Oh, dude, Bobby, this is going to take a very, very special place in my collection to display this. I'm trying to figure out in my head exactly where it's going to go. It's going to, I mean, it's obviously going to go with the original Action Force prototypes from Bob, but I think I need to relocate them somewhere. I may even go out and buy a small glass display cabinet just for this prototype stuff. So, just for you, Bobby. Did I use the F word? Sorry if there's any kids watching. I don't remember doing that. Oh man. So yeah, it's all here. Wow. It's Condor. I'm freaking speechless. Daniel Dorian, it'll get to a point where Tony will have a whole prototype. I have a number of prototypes in the collection now. I've never bought one, people. I actually feel like I haven't even taken a moment to properly take this in. Well, I will figure out a way to display this correctly. So I'll have a chat with you after, Bobby, about exactly what type of glue to glue it together with and that. But this thing is amazing. He's got the Union flag on the chest of his body armor, the magazines in the pouches, got the original pistol here for the holster, the hands. Oh, damn. Do you use like craft glue to glue this together or something? Wow. 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 All right, Bobby, you take care, mate. I'll definitely chat with you soon, man. Oh, thank you. This is going to be a prize piece in my collection, man. So much appreciated, man. Really much appreciated. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. How am I going to go from this into a 2-hour commentary of the story of Action Man? Wow. Okay. Jody, I'm not going to use plastic weld because I don't. No, I'm not going to use plastic weld. I think I have some other options that may work a bit better. Geez. Yes, Kieran, great acts of kindness, wonderful reactions, fantastic community. It really is. I need to shut down the live stream because we're going live for the patrons in about 35 minutes time. I wanted to go for a little bit longer, but I want to promptly start that Story of Action Man commentary, Patreon only live stream video, whatever you want to call it. And I think I need a little bit of extra time to kind of pack things up here. So thank you all for being here. Thank you to everyone who has reached out to Brendan Haley and sent some money to the GoFundMe for the Race for Chase. That really is much appreciated. And yeah, if you would like to join us for the Patreon only live stream and you're not already a member of Patreon, there's a link in the description of this video. For $1 a month, you get access to not only this Patreon only live stream, but all of the previous ones as well. You just got to scroll down through all the posts on the Analog Toys Patreon. All right, Huey, thanks for being here. Thanks to George. George, I know it's getting late there, but if you want to watch the Patreon only stream, I'll flick you the link, mate. Yeah, I'm quite stunned. Thanks. It's been a great stream. I will see the patrons in about 33 minutes time. All right. I'm going to actually end the live stream with one final thing. It's already on the channel, but I want to quickly share this video again. I'm going to end the live stream with the promo reel for the upcoming Iconicon convention in July. So, all right, guys, thanks for being here. I'll see you next time. Whoops, that was the wrong video. Iconicon is the first online event of its kind that brings together your favourite content creators around the globe from across YouTube and beyond for a 5-day convention celebrating 80s pop culture. Combining our crews, we'll be sharing live streams, interviews, podcasts and fully produced features covering 80s movies, music, toys, comics, cartoons, TV shows and much, much more. Hosted on YouTube from 7 to 11 July 2021, Iconicon's presenters include Retro Blasting, I Grew Up Star Wars, 2 Cents Toys, the Clobber in Times podcast, Midnight's Edge, Toy Polloi, Ed's Retro Geek Out and Analog Toys to name but a few, with special guests including former Palatoy cheap toy designer Bob Breakin and legendary comic book artist Tom Feister. For more information regarding the presenters, special guests and the content schedule, visit the official Iconicon website at www.iconicononline.com and save the date because you won't want to miss this incredible event. Iconicon 2021. We're crossing the streams.